Why did that bother me so much? Why couldn't I just let it go? Here's the reframe that I want you to hear, my friend. It's not that the moment got bigger. It's that your nervous system is tired. Hi, my friend, and welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, and with God's help, I've overcome some of the toughest trials in life that I could ever have imagined. Do you find yourself struggling to move beyond a heartbreak or a hardship, asking God, why me? Well, I'm here to help women just like you heal and build the resilience to overcome life's greatest trials. If you long for joy and confidence again, this podcast is for you. So grab your headphones and those hardships. Let's talk. Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. Have you noticed how small things seem to feel much bigger lately? Or is that just me? A comment, a tone, a look, a text message. Things that normally wouldn't throw you suddenly feel heavy or personal or hard to shake off and just stick in your mind and replay over and over. If that's been happening to you, this episode is for you. In the last episode, I talked about racism fatigue, cultural backlash, and what it looks like to choose regulation over resolution in big public moments. Moments where the world feels loud and charged and activating. But today, I want to bring that same conversation a little closer to home. Because what we experience in the world doesn't just stay out there. It follows us into our relationships, it follows us into our families, our friendships, and it follows us into our work environments. Here's something very important that I want you to understand. When your nervous system is overloaded, it can't distinguish between the big threats and the small ones. All it knows is, I'm already carrying too much, and this might send me over the edge. So when a disagreement pops up, or someone says something that lands wrong, or a situation feels uncomfortably tense, your body reacts before your mind can even sort out whether or not this is actually a big deal. And that is why things feel more personal right now. Not because you've changed, but because your capacity has. Let me name what this can look like. You find yourself snapping faster than usual. Or maybe you're shutting down instead of taking the time to explain yourself. Replaying conversations over and over in your mind. Or needing more space than you used to need. And then questioning yourself because of any of those. Why did that bother me so much? Why couldn't I just let it go? Here's the reframe that I want you to hear, my friend. It's not that the moment got bigger. It's that your nervous system is tired. You see, your nervous system has one primary job. One job. And that job is to keep you safe. That's it. That's all. And so when your nervous system senses threat, whether that threat is real or just perceived, it activates and it goes to work. And when activation doesn't get a chance to settle, everything starts to feel urgent and on fire. Tone can feel sharper. Conflict feels riskier. Silence feels heavier. And this is not emotional immaturity. It's actually physiology. And understanding that can be incredibly freeing so that you can let yourself off the hook and make the changes that you now understand you need to make. And this is where bouncing back comes in. And I say bounce back, not as a slogan, but as a practice. At the micro level, bounce back is about noticing activation and choosing not to act because of it. It's pausing before responding. It's deciding that now is not the moment to resolve everything. Bounce back doesn't mean that you don't care. Actually, the opposite. Bounce back means that you care enough to respond out of regulation instead of out of reactivity. Sometimes bounce back looks like not replying right away. Sometimes it looks like asking for space without over explaining yourself or why you need space in the first place. Sometimes it looks like muting an entire conversation instead of jumping in and escalating it. Sometimes it looks like choosing rest over mental processing. You know, lying in bed thinking, going over and over. Sometimes just choose rest. And I want to be really clear here. These choices are not avoidance. They're actually discernment. And they are your nervous system saying, I need to settle before I engage. And that's smart, friend. That's wise. One thing that became really clear to me recently is how regulating it feels to be around people who don't require explanation, people who already understand the context that you are carrying. Sometimes bounce back looks like going where your body can exhale, where you don't have to justify your feelings or your needs or your asks, where you don't have to stay on, and I'm using my air quotes there. That's not checking out of life. That's not taking the easy road. That's choosing safety. And notice I say choosing safety. If you're curious about understanding your nervous system a little bit more deeply, there's a framework that has helped me begin to start making sense of my own nervous system. And it's something called polyvagal theory. You don't need to understand all of the deep science behind it in order to actually benefit from it. But at its core, what it does is it helps explain why sometimes you feel calm and connected, and other times you feel defensive, overwhelmed, or shut down, even when nothing obvious is happening. For me, just learning that my body was responding to safety cues helped me stop seeing myself as broken and start seeing myself as just simply human. So if things have been feeling heavier for you lately, in conversations, in relationships, in everyday interactions, just know that you're not failing. Your nervous system has been working overtime. And bounce back in these moments isn't about fixing the situation. It's about recovering yourself inside of the situation. Not everything needs to be resolved immediately. Some things just need to be regulated. So as you move through the rest of your day, I don't want you to try to fix anything. Promise me and say it out loud. I am not going to try to fix things. I just want you to be aware and to notice. Notice when something feels bigger than it needs to feel. Notice when your body starts to tighten up before your mind makes a decision. Notice when you start to feel the urge to explain and over-explain or defend or just get to the resolution. And in these moments, see if you can remind yourself of this. There is nothing wrong with me. I'm just tired. My nervous system is just overwhelmed. And that pause, that awareness, that, my friend, is bounce back in real time. So if you're learning to pause more, to choose peace more intentionally, to protect your capacity, You are not disengaging, my friend. You are healing. And that return to yourself is what Bounce Back has always meant. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey, and guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.